Can the Silent beat Slay the Spire with only using shivs? Greetings, gentlemen and ladies. Welcome back. Today, the Silent acquires the spotlight for what might be one of the hardest challenges I have ever attempted. The rules are simple. We are only allowed to use cards with shiv in them. And because I wanted to make this challenge even harder, cards that come from potions, relics, or events must also follow these parameters. There is one exception. At the start, Neutralize will act as our temporary shiv, but as soon as we get one, it's out of here. Now, you might be asking yourself, how many attempts? To which I'd reply, a few. We have 7 formidable and inconceivable challenges behind us, so you can be certain that we're going to give this challenge everything we have. Now, sit back, get yourself comfortable, for it's time. Time to climb. Climb time! Today we are given 4 choices. Choosing a card, 3 1 HP combats, gaining a curse and rare relic, or exchanging our relic with a random boss one. I checked the map, identifying 2 early merchants and 2 possible free elite paths. Knowing that elites were not going to be a regular occurrence for us this run, I decided on the 3 1 HP encounters. Our introductory free battle was against a cultist. Our temporary shiv neutralizes him. We are awarded 16 gold, a fruit juice which gives us 5 max health when used, and for the card rewards we get given accuracy. This is a solid power for the challenge yet to come. The first merchant welcomes us to his shop, and he has 3 shiv offerings: Blade Dance, accuracy, and a potion too. Without any hesitation, Blade Dance gets acquired. The question mark event has us ambushed by a couple of slimes. This takes a charge of our free encounters away from the relic. Though I couldn't complain for long, we get given Cloak and Dagger. We now have 3 cards that are usable in our 15 card deck. Talking of slimes, we lose a little health but gain 75 gold, and just before our second merchant too, would you look at that? Naturally, we aren't going to always get something we want, but that's okay. A card removal is a valuable use of our gold nonetheless. So long, Neutralize, you did a good job. Now for the rest site. I do some calculations on the best upgrade here. Accuracy loses to Cloak in the short term, but it becomes much better after even 1 more shiv gets acquired. Our final charge of Niao's Lament gets used to defeat the Sentry elites. It was going to be uphill from here. The rewards were great. Oddly Smooth Stone gives us a dexterity, which with only 1 card currently that can block for us, was a well-respected relic to see. And for the card rewards, we get another Cloak and Dagger. This was a good start to the run, indeed. Now for our first proper combat. It was the Louse King's Louses. We unload our shivs with accuracy on the front one before taking 7 damage. His friend follows along shortly after. They have 16 gold on them and acrobatics. Never mind. A small relic chest was up next, holding the legendary cow, Akabeko, causing our first shiv to deal 8 more damage, and would no doubt be a very helpful ally to our ascent. Floor 10's question mark event held the Living Wool. Removing a card from our bloated deck would definitely be best, and I surprised myself by stopping the strike removal, instead choosing Survivor, just in case of Pandora's box. The next combat encounter has a red slaver, opening up with 13 damage, but with accuracy upgraded, our shivs were simply too much for this Act 1 enemy to handle. He gives us a Forge Potion first, before yet another Cloak and Dagger. Let's go! Just having the ability to partially block damage is a welcome sight for the upcoming fights. Now was the merchant. Yet again, not really anything on offer that we'd like to see. Regal, Pello, Lantern, Sling of Courage, not relics worthy of our gold. So I settle with an ever-increasing card removal instead. Feeling pretty strong, I went into floor 13 with little concern. A big slime aimed 16 damage towards us. I Blade Dance and Cloak, taking it down to 43 health. 9 damage does get through our defense. Next, 2 Cloak Daggers were exchanged with us being made weak. Not great, especially for shiv damage. Accuracy finally graced us with its presence. They split into 21 HP slimes, and after 3 more damage gets through, we defeat them. The spoils show 12 gold and a beautiful card reward. Another accuracy. Oh, there started coming some fun old lines in my head. Our final question mark event was the Golden Shrine. I had no interest in acquiring a curse, so 100 gold was enough for me. Now for the rest site. Hexaghost works a little differently than most enemies. His big attack scales off of how much health we have, increasing for every increment of 12 HP. For that reason, I decided on upgrading, and there was nothing other than accuracy in my mind. Now was time for the boss of Act 1. Hexaghost. Talking of accuracy, we get 2 in our opening hand, which I follow with a Blade Dance, dealing 56 points of damage. He readies his big 24 attack, we reply with 2 cloaks and shivs, still taking 10 damage here. My excitement faded slightly as our bloated deck gives us an unplayable hand, receiving 6 damage and a burn. 3 cloaks graced us next, not only allowing us to mitigate him fully, but also to throw 3 shivs. A couple more turns go in our favour, but time was running out. Thankfully, we take him down to 18 health. Just a Blade Dance here will finish him off. Another unplayable hand with a burn and 14 damage coming our way. This isn't good. We can't do anything other than pass our turn, going down to 8 HP. But thankfully, a Blade Dance saves us from the floating rock run-ending attack. There was definitely some crazy potential in this deck, but the lack of defense was worrying to say the least. Pick up the 98 gold and replace our poison potion with a strength one. I wanted to keep poison out of this shiv run. It'll be for a future challenge. And because there's no rare shiv card that I know of...
Oh, okay. Cool.
Onto the relics. Sacred Bark, Fusion Hammer, and Busted Crown. I want to continue upgrading our Cloak and Daggers, so Fusion was off the table for now. Busted Crown could definitely be the one, and is probably the most logical choice here. And then there was Sacred Bark. This relic had grown itself a rather soft spot in my heart from the recent challenges, and there were some crazy potential lines that we could pull off in the right circumstances. It would also mean an extra 5 HP from our current potion. It probably isn't the correct choice, but it was the fun one. Come on, Bark, let's go to the city. I checked the map, finding paths to continue our potion expedition. The Flaming Elite's location was noted, and with that, we began our ascent of Act 2. The Shelled Parasite. Not good. His big hitting attacks and plated armor counted our deck hard by accuracy, and instead of double cloaking for mitigation, prioritized reducing his shielding with a Blade Dance, bringing it down to 10. Our next hand wasn't ideal. I play an accuracy, but we take another 10 damage, and then a completely unplayable hand with 18 damage incoming. I passed and watched our health go down to its 30s. Finally, playable cards, and not only enough to defend his attack, but unleash a fatal one ourselves. Not how I envisioned us starting the act, but let's not worry about what has been and instead look at what will be. 40 damage from a fire potion is a solid pickup, and we don't have to lose a potion to get it. With no card rewards, we move forward to the first merchant of Act 2. What's going on? Let's just remove a strike and look at the relics. Nunchaku, shivs, energy. Sounds like a great idea. We can... Then again, you remember me just saying about those crazy lines? Well, my head was still very much there. Dolly's Mirror for 146 gold. It was time to get accurate. The Spheric Guardian, no problem. Accuracy, Blade, Cloak, down to 12. 2 more accuracies. We take 3 measly damage. I am full steamer. Oh, okay. Let's pump the emergency brake here. An unplayable hand with 20 damage coming our way was not something we should allow to happen. I have a fire potion, and no question this is the play, but I got too caught up in the excitement, taking the full hit. On only our second combat this act, we had already lost 54 of our health. No rewards to note. The Bonfire Spirits greeted us next, and with our mind back on track, I choose to remove another strike. Floor 22 has the Centaurian and his wife's Chiropractor. We start with a basic turn 1, accuracy and double cloak, sending our shivs into the night before resisting our correction. I then make another huge blunder. We have 66 damage worth of shivs, easily defeating the knight here, but yet I fire potion him. I cannot tell you what was going through my mind. A good reminder that we are all human and make mistakes in these moments. With the Mystic no longer attacking, only 2 more turns were necessary. Reward-wise, oh thanks Snecko, a Gambler's Brew. Being able to remove an unplayable hand is just a euphoric feeling in itself. We skip on the cards. Next, we rest and recover to 50 HP before the first elite of Act 2, the Gremlin Leader. With 2 accuracies plus Cloak Dagger in our opening hand, we are offered the ability to defeat a minion. I play both accuracies and Cloak before doing a little math. Knowing that another accuracy and blade dance were not long behind, it was actually possible to leave the shielding gremlin up and not take the 2 damage from the sneaky one. We then use our last accuracy and send every shiv directly into the leader. He summons his battlefield, we summon our shivs, and with our numbers being bigger than his, we take him down. I then pick up the spoils of 30 gold, Art of War, which is unlikely to see much play, and as usual, no cards. Next up was the Shelled Parasite and his Shroomy partner. This could end up being more dangerous than the Elite. I play the Forge Potion, giving us a couple more shivs to reduce his shield. We thankfully wouldn't need to use our Gambler's Brew unless we got very unlucky with not drawing the Blade Dance. Maybe we should just take the 18 hit here. But with how volatile our health was in this challenge, I didn't want to risk it. I drink the potion, double accuracy, and defeat the shell. The following turn is much the same to the mushroom's demise. Reward-wise, we do get a swift potion to replace one of the 2 we used, and no cards. Floor 26 held a relic, and a legendary one at that. Pear, not quite the mango of fruits, but 10 HP is nothing to scoff at all. We then take down the cultist bird combo, only losing 3 health in the interim. They don't afford us any rewards outside of the 17 gold. The following encounter was a first for the channel. The Centaurian wanted another go with his chiropractor? Our starting hand was solid. Double accuracy into cloak mitigates 7 of the 12 damage, and then boy oh boy were we ready to throw some knives. Accuracy, blade, 1, 2, 3 and 4 shivs. They simply didn't stand a ghost of a chance. We skipped the card rewards before walking into a rest site. I thought about healing up, considering we were at around half, but only creating 1 shiv from these cloak and daggers could end up being problematic. It's all about the energy value here. With 117 gold, I wasn't expecting much from the merchant, but fill my house up with coal and start a fire because this train was about to go global. Cloak and dagger plus a blade dance on sale? Hakuna Maflubba Bubba Tata, let's go! They both get picked up, now rounding our deck off very nicely. The Forgotten Altar finishes the act off with the usual exchange. Thankfully, the rest site could recover some that was lost. And with 58 HP, it was now time for the boss of Act 2, the champ. I take no time in drinking our strength potion. Sacred Bark bringing that value up to 4 will be a vital lifeline for us here. Our opening hand shows us 3 playable cards. I start with accuracy, then cloak, and dance, creating 5 shivs, which we send into him, dealing a total of 78 damage. He retaliates with 5 getting through, plus 2 vulnerable and frail. Turn 2, it wasn't looking good. We do set up our shiv damage and send 1 into him, but with us only able to defend for 7, no, actually 5. 19 would get through, and it does. He can do some big attacks, well so can we. I blade and double cloak, giving us 5 shivs and 10 block. I send him into him, bringing him down to 186 health. He brings us down to 26. It was his buffing phase next. With only 3 shivs able to be played on our part, we do our best. But now he has 48 damage incoming. 5 block from our cloak wasn't going to be enough. Can we defeat him first? I blade and cloak before playing shiv. 1, 2, 3, and 4. It wasn't enough. The power is good, but who am I kidding here? We have a draw potion, and with 1 energy remaining, we just barely take him down. These bosses were no joke, and that was with the Sacred Bark's help. We needed to get more energy, or at least a more consistent deck. I pick up the 99 gold, and after going through what felt like 1,000 cuts, only our adrenaline was able to keep us pushing forward. Zip Viper. Now for the relics. Runic Pyramid, Sozu, and an empty cage. We could really do with an extra energy, but come on, Sozu being offered as our only option? Right, Runic Pyramid would have been a solid choice, but we simply have too many unplayable cards that will stop us from being able to create shivs. So, empty cage? It was in all parts a solid relic to obtain, so I pick it up and choose to remove our last 2 remaining strikes. This was on all accounts a tragic misplay. If you know, you know. Act 3, the Beyond. Choosing the correct map route here would be essential. Merchants, the surrounding elites, and question mark events were all identified before I began our minutious ascent. The Darklings. The unmoving 3 energy hurts to see here. I slap on our accuracy and blade dance before checking our following hand. I decide against distributing our shivs and instead just focus on the back one for now. Turn 2 attacks were being made, but with another accuracy, the shivs removed the threat. And after a couple more turns, they get sent on their merry way. 19 gold and another skip of the cards. It was now time for tragedy to strike, the Falling event. If you didn't know, this event will randomly pick a power, skill, and attack card from your deck, and then we have to decide on which to lose. It was in this moment that I realized, if I had kept even one strike, our cloak would be safe. Alas, it wasn't. We skipped over the Sensory Stone next, and now for the Mind Bloom encounter. A mix of desiring the rare relic and confidence locked me into the boss encounter. Quite possibly the worst boss we could have asked for. Remember that lesson earlier? Our opening hand shows us a good mixture of attacks, shiving him down to 192. The big attack was, oh dear lord, 48 damage? We have one defending card and no potions. This was going to hurt. At the very least, I take him down to 128 before we face his onslaught of attacks. Our final accuracy shows itself, for it was now our turn to send the Armada. 6 shivs, 132 damage, Hexaghost goes down. The damage is clearly here, the defense is not. Along with the 50 gold, we get Thread and Needle, a solid relic. Even if we couldn't keep the 4-plated armor up, it would give us a small buffer to work with for the upcoming encounters. Floor 39 has a single Orb Walker, which, after a couple of turns and us losing 9 HP, gets swiftly defeated. I pick up the Forge Potion and skip the card rewards. Upon entering the next rest site, I check the map to get my bearings on the plan of advancement. Knowing that I could avoid the elites, I prioritized upgrading another cloak, as getting that additional shiv while defending will be helpful, especially for the upcoming fight against the Transient. And unlike our strike-only challenge, not only do we cancel its first 4 attacks, but every single one of them. Now that felt good. A bronze potion that holds 6 thorns is awarded, and the card rewards sparked a ponderment. Isn't well laid plans just a discount runic pyramid? Huh. Anyway, the merchant greeted us next. Whilst his cards and relics left much to be desired, Duplication Potion was what I had in mind when we were aboard the crazy train, so it immediately gets picked up. Now we have a choice. Do we buy the Draw Potion or remove another card? I end on saving our gold for the next merchant. Our final guaranteed relic chest was of a formidable ally, one that seemed to be in nearly every challenge we had done so far. That'll no doubt help us with the upcoming boss fight, like it did for those that came before. I choose the question mark event next and get ambushed by the Maw. Yeah, with its slow start and our 4-plated armor, it didn't take long, nor did it even touch us. A good day for shivs it was. The rewards were 14 gold. And a blade dance? Don't mind if I do. In an ideal setup, this next merchant would have what we needed. I didn't fancy taking on an Act 3 elite to get to another one, regardless of our shift power. Okay, it could be worse. I see 2 options here. Happy Flower for an energy every 3 turns, or a card removal. Oh, and don't worry, that plated armor potion, yeah, that's not being left behind. I settle on the card removal, as without a draw potion and the status cards from Decker, I had to limit our hand block the best I could. Floor 46's question mark event offered us a full heal for an exchange of max health, which I accept, with it potentially allowing us to upgrade our cloak and dagger at the next rest site. Another set of shapes challenged my mentality of mistakes next. The usual setup of accuracy and 2 cloaks, allowing the removal of one of the exploders, though we do take 3 damage from the thorn shape. With it just being us left, I wanted to take as little damage as possible, but for some reason, no matter how many times I face these shapes, I seem to always play the wrong line. I check our draw pile, seeing 2 potential cloaks, but don't take into account that we could simply only draw one of them. We end up losing 10 health. Our final enemy encounter was a gift, allowing me to apply my recent education, which I do perfectly, deciding not to hold back on finishing the thorny boy off. Reward-wise, we had a choice with Regen Potion. There was only one swap potential here, Liquid Bronze. I sat and genuinely wrote down on paper the math, finalizing on Regen Potion being best. One last rest site, one final upgrade, and then one final encounter, the donuts. It was imperative that we start strong with this fight, and let's just say the pieces of the crazy puzzle were set out before us. I plated plus Duplication Potion on both of our upgraded accuracies, then cloak and send the shivs to Donu. we take 1 damage. Turn 2, I play yet another accuracy and generate 5 shivs. After sending them all into Donu, he's left with 16 HP. Sacred Bark was the shield that continued protecting us here. Our next hand was incredible, once again. 2 cloaks, 1 dance, and a lot of shiv, all dealing 34 damage each. This was absolutely insane. Just for the sake of it, I drink our final potion, completely fill our hands with the good stuff, and with that, we have officially beaten Slay the Spire with only using shivs. Man, what a way to end a tough challenge like this one. In the coming months, I'll be attempting challenges from the comments and our growing community, other games, and just fun adventures that we can share together. The difficulty might not always be at the extremes, but I promise that I will keep working hard at making these videos fun to watch and be a part of. To finish the video off, with summer fast approaching, remember, as always, stay hydrated.